Well, hello, Philos listeners. Simone Rizkallah here, and I'm back with Dr. Faydra Shapiro, who's a Senior Research Fellow at the Philos Project. Faydra, it's so good to talk to you again.
Hey, Simone, thanks for inviting me back.
Yeah, well, we want to talk about something that you wrote about actually a few years ago, which is that Jesus is still Jewish and some details about what that means and implications with that. So something I just want to start off with about this question is that when it comes to Jewish and Christian understanding of things, I think about, at least coming from my own, Philos Catholic context in particular, but this applies to all Christians, that one of the earliest heresies of the church, again, we're talking about before there were schisms and divisions within Christianity, was the Gnostic heresy. This man named Marcion taught this Gnostic heresy, which was a denial of the goodness of the body. And the early Gnostics really, they just denied the goodness of the body and all the implications that come with that. There was a saint in the early church who was a bishop, Irenaeus, who taught against this Gnostic heresy. He was also the guy that kept the Jewish Bible, the Torah, the Old Testament, in what is now our Christian Bible. So he's a very interesting man, Irenaeus. And something that we find very interesting as Christians is that, for example, Jesus still has the marks of the crucifixion, even now in heaven. And, after his resurrection, Christians believe that St. Thomas the Apostle came and felt, the wound in his side where the soldier pierced his side. And so this is, a biblical proof of against this Gnostic heresy. But you wrote about Jesus his circumcision and how, the importance of that for people and Christians to think about when it comes to this. So tell us more about what inspired you to write that article and why you want to talk about it now.
Sure. I think by now it's really kind of accepted, even a little bit easy to talk about Jesus's Jewishness, right? Like everybody knows that's the right answer. But
Right.
it doesn't always trickle down in terms of what that means.
Mm-hmm.
But, Jesus went to the temple and he celebrated Jewish festivals and he prayed Jewish prayers and he read from the Torah and he kept the Sabbath and he ate Jewish food. And, while it might make some people cringe a little bit, he was circumcised. And, that means, for example, that Jesus probably had more in common with my 23-year-old son who lives in the land of Israel and celebrates the festivals and prays Jewish prayers and reads from the Torah, keeps the Sabbath, and is circumcised,
Right.
than he had in common with a Gentile Christian living in, Texas today.
Right.
But, the Gospel of Luke in chapter 2 is absolutely clear about this, right? That at the end of 8 days, when he was circumcised, and he was named Jesus, the name that was given by the angel before he was conceived, right? So this theme of Jesus' circumcision isn't made up out of nowhere or Jewish Christian relations. Right. It's right there in the gospel. And it's not an uncommon one, even in medieval Christian art. And there are references to the holy foreskin of Jesus, right? These start showing up in the Middle Ages with, churches asserting that they have, Jesus's foreskin as a relic.
Mm-hmm.
But somewhere along the line, we became a little bit prudish. But
Yes, exactly.
this erasure, or maybe it's not an erasure, this forgetting of Jesus's Jewishness has a real impact. It functions, first of all, to sharpen the separation between Christians and Jews, right? This absolute distinction between Christianity and Judaism. And it also, just as you said, it separates Jesus from the particularities of his historical humanity, which is a theological problem, right?
Right.
It's not just that Jesus was a Jew. That's really easy to say. But, for faithful Christians today, Jesus's body, still marked by the signs of the crucifixion, even in heaven, also still bears the sign of circumcision, right? His heavenly body is marked as a Jewish body,
Right.
just as the bodies of my sons and grandson are.
Right.
And
Right.
I think it's important for Christians to pay attention to this and to the centrality of the Jewish body, because here we are today at a time when Jewish bodies are vulnerable bodies, right? Like,
Yeah.
people ought to reject anti-Semitism because anti-Semitism is wrong, but I think for Christians, it must go much deeper, right? The ability to recognize that there is something acutely Jewish pulsating at the heart of Christianity. That's what's going to make anti-Semitism something completely foreign, something utterly unthinkable for Christians. So I think that reflecting on Jesus' Jewishness in a serious way, and on the connection between the circumcised body of Christ and the bodies of Jews who are being intimidated and threatened and slaughtered in their homes, in synagogues and campuses. I think that's a powerful piece of that.
It's
So I
very,
guess
yeah.
that, I would say, on January 1st, that secular New Year's, when even in the church, it's become, the the Solemnity of Mary, I think.
Yes, it's the
So
Mary,
that
Mother of
people think
God.
about
Yeah.
it as the naming of Jesus, or the octave, the end of the octave of Christmas. I think really uh, it's really important and powerful for Christians also to remember the what was the first shedding of Jesus's blood with his
Oh,
circumcision, and with his entrance into covenant with the God of Israel.
that's so incredible, Fader. What a beautiful meditation that we can take during this, Christmas season, and to really not be Gnostics, not be functional Gnostics, and really concretize the reality of Jesus's flesh and body and blood, and to, because I think not being anti-Semitic, any normal Christian would say, yeah, of course not, but it's just a theory, so it can like kind of go into Gnosticism. But I think what really breeds a love for our Jewish, brothers and sisters, fathers in the faith, whatever you want to call Jewish people, what breeds a philo-Semitism, a love, is to really like meditate over everything that you were just sharing with us. And it's so, so beautiful to listen to you to speak about it. So any other final thoughts? I don't want to step all over your points because you said them so well and so perfectly.
I think just, yeah, I mean, January 1st, more than an opportunity to just sleep off your hangover, right?
Yes. And I'm very happy that this year Hanukkah and Christmas are around the same times. I think that's very, very special and a very, very unifying. So thank you so much, Phaedra.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.